Do you just hate phone flipping one day and then love it the next? Or are you just curious to know what the life of phone flipper is? Well, today I'm going to give you the pros and cons of phone flipping. Coming up next.
Let me see you put 'em up. Reach the sky, touch the stars up above. Cause it's one time for the underdog. One time for the underdog.
Hey guys, this is Broke to Beast, where we make videos about starting your own business, online or offline, as well as follow along my own journey. Before we start, if you like entrepreneurship and business content, make sure you go down below and subscribe because we post videos every day about helping you achieve your success. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of phone flipping and how this affects your own journey. Now, phone flipping in itself is a really good business model, but these pros and cons actually are involved in a lot of other types of businesses. And you'll be able to see that in a second. Alright, first let's talk about the pros. The first pro is that you're going to have a flexible schedule. You can work as many hours as you want at the times that you want, preferably when people are awake, so you can meet up with people to sell and buy their phones. But besides that, you can choose whatever hours you want to work with. So if you like to stay up late, then you can stay up late and then wake up in the afternoon and meet up with people. If you like to sleep early, then you can, and you can meet up with people maybe before lunch, during your lunch, or just after lunch. That could work as well. And the good thing is you can just choose the amount of hours you work as well. Phone flipping doesn't take that many hours, to be honest. It's actually really efficient in terms of the hours per money that you make. And to grow it is also very easy as well. You just have to add in a few hours or a few extra work hours on top of the work you're already doing in order to get more deals and to get more sales. Another pro that I've talked about already is the very minimal hours that it takes in order to start a phone flipping business and to actually have success with it. For example, in my first month, I made $1,000 in profit, and I was actually working maybe tops 3 hours per week on the side. It was crazy. It's like people think it takes a lot of time because you have to buy the phones, have to sell it, have to take photos, have to do all of these things. But one single phone may take you half an hour the whole process may take half an hour to 45 minutes, tops 1 hour. It doesn't take that long. So for 1 hour you can make profits of upwards of $30 to $50 or even more if you're in the US. Another pro is that it's based on your effort. So the more you work, the more you'll probably be able to sell. Because if you only put up one ad, for example, and you answer 50 messages, you're probably going to get 2 to 3 deals. And that's fine. You can do that and then sell those phones and then start again. However, if you put up 3 or 5 ads, you can 5x your results. So you put up 5 ads and you get 5 times more messages. Maybe you get 300 messages. And so you'll get a ton more deals. You get, instead of getting 2, 3 deals, you'll get maybe 15 deals, 10 to 15 deals, which is much better. So as your time spent increases, you can actually increase the profits as well. So based on hustle hours. Another good pro is that it's very scalable. Although it is based on your time, a lot of it is based on the time that you put the hustle hours of putting up ads, talking to people, meeting up, and then taking photos and selling. It is very scalable because not only can you teach somebody to do this and hire somebody in the future if you need, but the amount of time you waste per phone sold is so little that you can accumulate a lot of work altogether. So while putting up ads, you can do it all at one time. While picking up phones, you can pick up phones all in 2 hours from the day, for example. While taking photos, you can take photos of all the phones at the same time. And while selling the phones, you can go to the post office at the same time and send the phones all at the same time. So just because one phone takes 1 hour, it doesn't mean 2 phones will take 2 hours. Sometimes 2 phones will take 1 hour and a half or even less. It depends. And also, if you're making enough sales already, you can actually hire people and teach them. I have not done this myself because it hasn't been necessary yet, and I don't advise you to do that until you feel like you could use somebody to do that work for you, so you can use that time in order to grow your business. And the fifth and final pro is that it's very easy and fast to learn. I literally learned by looking at a couple of videos and thinking about how I could do this in my own country, in Portugal, and I just did it. I just started buying phones and I started selling and making a profit. It is not that hard. Yes, a few things you have to take care of, bills of sale, a lot of those things are very important, and it's helpful to have somebody by your side that can help you out, starting your business and maintaining and even growing it in the future. But you can do this yourself as well. You can even just watch my videos and you'll be able to start flipping phones this week and even make money this week, to be honest. All right, now let's talk about the cons of phone flipping. Everything has its pros and cons, right? But usually in business models, if you have more pros and cons, that's a good idea. And so, to be honest, I just found 3 major cons in phone flipping. There could be more, but at least I don't like to complain myself. I like to focus on the positive, the cliche positive. So I just found 3. So the first one is angry sellers. Now, you have to grow thick skin, to be honest. Sometimes I would get a little fed up because it's not just about angry sellers, it's just about the constant messaging with new people. It can be very exhausting, especially if you do it on Facebook. I remember waking up and for hours, I didn't even want to turn on Facebook because I knew I would get a ton of messages, not just from my friends, because I wanted to see the messages from my friends, but I was getting messages from the other people to get phone deals. And I understand this is part of the business, but if you can, try to separate your Facebook accounts. Have one account for business and one account for personal, so you can not have that thing of I don't want to open Facebook yet, because it has been proven that if you check your email or your messages in the morning, it can turn your day into a not so good one. So be wary of that. However, this shouldn't excuse you not to use Facebook or any other platform to buy and sell phones, because they're very valuable and you need them to sell your phones. And so just grow some thick skin. In the beginning, yes, it did bother me a lot, but then I started learning how to deal with it. I just didn't open for 2-3 hours in the morning, and then when I was ready, I say, okay, let's get to business. I'd open my messages and respond to them. Just decide the time. Maybe not after you wake up when you're still in bed. I don't think that's a good idea because you still don't have the right mindset. But maybe after coffee, maybe after you've exercised or just walked around a little bit, you'll probably be in much more better mental energy to deal with messages. And also angry sellers. Some people do actually get very offended when you lowball them and you give a price because they don't understand the business model. And so, that's the way of the business. You can't really fix that because a lot of people will be annoyed. And to be honest, with 50 conversations, you might get 1 to 2 deals, good deals. So, the ratios are not the best, but we gotta do what we gotta do. And it's, you'll get used to it. It's like sales. It's hard at the beginning. You have to grow thick skin. You have to understand the numbers and the game. And you'll understand that the next sale will come. So no problem with that. And also, depending on your country, you might get better deals or worse deals. And the ratio between number of deals and number of messages can actually be higher or lower. So more deals per messages. Anyways, let's talk about the second con, dead seasons. Now, I've heard a lot of these dead seasons that sometimes happen. I'm a part of a few Facebook groups that talk about phone flipping. And I always hear people saying, anybody feel like the sales are slowing down or there are not a lot of sales this week or anything like that? And a lot of people usually agree and others don't. But I think this is a phenomenon that happens in seasons. So sometimes after Christmas, I remember there was a time after Christmas that people weren't buying phones. I'm talking about the US, so most of my viewers are from the US, so this can relate to you. Myself, I didn't really notice a dip in sales. Maybe less messaging, I'd say, yeah, but in general, not a big deal. But in the US, I feel like after Christmas was a big deal, where a decrease in messaging and sales, and other times of the year that maybe don't really make sense, but just slow down for one reason or the other. So just be aware of that don't depend all of your income from this source. At least don't expect it to give you the same amount every single month. And that brings me to my last con, unsteady income. This is, I'd say, it's the biggest because it's also linked to hustle hours. The more hours, the more money you make. And mixed with a dead season can be a little detrimental to you, because if there's a dead season and if you do work more hours, sometimes it's not worth it because you're not going to get phones and you're not going to be able to sell them. And you're going to have a big inventory. You're going to be in the red and you're not going to be able to get rid of those phones. And so sometimes a few months can be, especially in the beginning, can be a little hectic, and it can be a little bit of a stressful situation if you don't have a steady income. Now, I'm used to not having steady income because I've done that for a couple of years now. So I've grown this thick skin to it, and I understand what I need to do in order to get to the next step and be more safe in terms of income. However, if you're not, I'd say that you have to get used to it. If you're really young, maybe try to not have a job for 6 months so you can feel the pain. Maybe save on the food you eat or the way you go out, the times you go out, something like that, so you can understand and use that to motivate you to work even harder and try to bring that business up and expand it. So yeah, those are the pros and cons, and now let's talk about how to beat the cons and crush phone flipping. So we kind of talked about this already, but so with angry sellers, you just have to grow thick skin and get used to it and think about it as a numbers game. For dead seasons, you also have to remind yourself that they will happen sometimes, and you just have to adapt to it and try to get other streams of income going if you want to. And the third con and the way to deal with it is in steady income, and it's just to understand that it will happen and it's not a job. So it's something that the more hours you put in, the more likely are you to make more money. And if you can diversify your risk, that's also really helpful. But I'd say don't try to do that thing of 7 different streams of income. I don't really believe in that. To be honest, I even look at the most successful people, the ones that are like high millionaires and almost billionaires. And yes, when they reach the top, they start building those 7 streams of income. But the way that they got to that level actually wasn't with 7 streams of income. It was actually with one big stream of income that took them to the next level. And then they used that money to invest in bonds and 5% per year so they can just make more money with the money that they have with compound interest. So just try to focus on one business, growing it and making it risk proof so you can just feel more safe. Anyways, I hope these tips helped you out, and if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe because we post videos every day helping you phone flip for the first time and grow your business. If you have any comments or questions, please go in the comments below and we can have a conversation there about phone flipping or whatever you want. And also please let me know what you'd like to see about phone flipping in the future if you have any ideas. Anyways, I hope this helped, and until next time, peace.